16-year-old Daniel Mercer ran a small but growing horror channel. He loved old legends, abandoned buildings, and proving that most ghost stories were just myths. His newest target was Black Ridge Sanatorium, a crumbling hospital on the outskirts of town that had closed 30 years ago after a mysterious fire. Locals said patients had vanished before the fire. They said the staff had locked entire wings and never spoke about what was inside. They said something still walked the halls at night. Daniel didn't believe any of it. At 11:47 p.m., he slipped through a gap in the rusted fence. His camera light cut through the darkness as he stepped into the courtyard. Windows stared down at him like empty eye sockets. The main doors hung crookedly, one swaying slightly, though there was no wind. "Okay, guys," Daniel whispered to his viewers, trying to sound calm. "Black Ridge Sanatorium. Let's see if this place is actually haunted." Inside, the air smelled of ash and mold. The walls were blackened from the old fire. Peeling paint curled like dead skin. His footsteps echoed too loudly. He explored the ground floor first. Overturned wheelchairs, broken beds, medical charts scattered across the floor. Names were scratched out violently, as if someone didn't want them remembered. In room 104, he found something strange. The walls were covered in drawings, hundreds of them, stick figures with hollow eyes, tall shapes standing behind hospital beds, and in every drawing, in thick black strokes, there was a door at the end of a hallway, except the door was always open. Daniel felt a chill. "Probably some patient's art therapy," he muttered, though his voice cracked slightly. He moved deeper into the building, climbing a stairwell half-collapsed from fire damage. The second floor was worse. The corridor stretched endlessly, his light revealing rows of closed doors. At the far end, there was one door slightly open. Daniel froze. It matched the drawings exactly. Same narrow hallway, same old metal door, same angle. He swallowed. "That's interesting. His chat would love this." He walked slowly toward it. The silence felt heavy, like the building was holding its breath. When he reached the door, he pushed it open with the tip of his flashlight. Inside was a small room, empty, except for a single chair facing the wall. On the wall, written in soot, were the words, "It watches through you." Daniel laughed nervously. "Okay, that's creepy. I'll give them that." He turned to leave. The hallway was longer. He blinked. It had been maybe 20 meters. Now it stretched at least twice that. The doors along the walls were different. Numbers missing, wood darker, handles rusted beyond recognition. "That's not funny," he whispered. He checked his phone. No signal. Battery, 12%. It had been at 63% minutes ago. He started walking back. His footsteps sounded wrong, slightly delayed, like someone was copying him half a second later. Step, 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 step. But there were 4 echoes. He stopped. The extra footsteps continued for 2 more beats before stopping too. Daniel's breathing grew shallow. "Hello?" he called, hating the tremor in his voice. From behind one of the doors came a slow scraping sound, like fingernails dragging down wood. He backed away. The door at the end of the hall, the one he had just exited, was now closed. No, 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 no. The lights on his camera flickered. For a split second, the corridor wasn't empty. Something tall stood halfway down the hall. Its head brushed the ceiling. Its arms hung too long. Its face, if it had one, was just darkness. But within that darkness, 2 faint reflections glowed, like eyes catching light. Daniel gasped and swung the camera back. The hallway was empty again. "I'm done. This is enough. I'm leaving." He ran. The corridor twisted. Doors appeared where walls had been. The stairwell vanished. Every turn led to another identical hallway with that same metal door at the end. Open, always open. His phone died. The only light left was his camera, and then he heard it clearly. Not footsteps this time, breathing, deep, slow, right behind him. He refused to look. Instead, he sprinted toward the open door at the end of the hall. Maybe it led somewhere else. Maybe it was an exit. He burst inside. It wasn't a room anymore. It was a hallway, longer than any before it. The walls were covered in fresh drawings, not stick figures this time. They were detailed. One showed a boy holding a camera. Another showed him standing in a hallway. Another showed him running. And the last drawing showed him turning around. Behind him towered the tall figure. Daniel felt tears sting his eyes. "This isn't real," he whispered. "This is just stress, just my imagination." The breathing stopped. Silence. Then, right next to his ear, a voice, not loud, not whispered, but inside his head, said, "You opened the door." The camera slipped from his hands
and hit the floor. The light rolled sideways, illuminating his legs, and behind them, something impossibly tall. The footage later recovered by police ended there. They found Daniel's camera lying in the courtyard of Blackridge Sanatorium the next morning. The building itself had burned down completely during the night. Fire investigators found no sign of how it started. No body was ever recovered. But sometimes, late at night, new visitors claim that if they walk past the ruins, they can see a long hallway through the broken walls. And at the very end of that hallway, a door, slightly open.